Lakshmi, good evening. Can you hear me?
Yeah. Hi, Raghav. Good morning.
Hi. So, yesterday, did you get a chance to go through those recorded videos?
No, no, I didn't get a chance. I'll go through it this weekend. Yeah.
Oh, okay. So, did you at least practice all those SQLs?
Joins, yeah, I've practiced. That union, that one I have not yet started.
The subqueries.
Mm.
Okay. All right.
Actually, this week, like my mom traveled, actually. She came so little busy.
Okay, okay. Um,
So,
yeah, you can catch up in the weekend. Um,
this weekend I'll work
so,
on it. Yeah.
okay. So, so today, we will see how to use. So we have seen all the basic SQL features. Of course,
Mm-hmm.
there are many more, but these are the basic things. Most of the other features will be on top of this. So depending on the version of the DB2 that you use, many more features can be there. And of course, not everyone you knows or uses all the features of DB2. It all depends on the person. If they explore more, they can find out more things that they can do with SQL as well as the features available in DB2. Anyway, so let us see how to run a simple program which will combine uh, the SQL along with COBOL. So we have to go back to COBOL now. But this
Okay.
time with COBOL, we will also put SQL inside that. Okay. So how
Mm.
to do that? So that is called as embedded SQL. You can see my screen.
Yes.
Yeah. So it's called embedded SQL plus COBOL. Means you are embedding the SQL within the COBOL program. So for that, we have to follow certain uh, style of coding, and also the compiler steps also will change because COBOL will not recognize, the COBOL compiler will not recognize any SQL statements. So we have a step added before the COBOL compiler, which will convert the SQL statements to COBOL equivalent statements. So there will be a step. That is one part. Also, the SQLs will run inside DB2, right? COBOL load module will not have SQL. COBOL load module, that is the executable, will have call statements to DB2 services, which in turn will execute the SQL inside DB2. And then it will return the result from the DB2 to COBOL, and then COBOL has to take that and process it. So that's how it is. But they are very, in the background, a lot of things happen. But for us in the coding, it's very easy. Coding part is very easy. But a lot of things happen in the background. You have to be aware of that, what happens in the background. So that
Okay.
whole process is called as a program preparation. I don't know why they use this word, but program preparation is nothing but those two additional steps which I talked. One additional steps before compilation of COBOL program. That's called as a DB2 pre-compiler step. And one additional step called bind, which is basically connecting your DB2 with COBOL, or rather DB2, the SQLs in DB2, we have to um, put it in a proper place so that the call statement from COBOL can refer to the specific SQL, which is a part of your program. That's called as a bind process. We will see both of them. So there's two additional steps we have to understand. Now, another thing is when you write embedded SQL, we also have to have one copybook. Say copybook is can be some variables, right? Normally it is a set of variables which can you can include, or we in COBOL we have a statement called copy statement. But similarly, in embedded SQL, instead of copy, we use include, because copy statement will come a later part of the compile process. So we have to bring this before. So there is an equivalent word called include in SQL. So this include any SQL statement that you put inside COBOL, it has to be delimited by these two start and end statements. Exec SQL means anything to do with DB2 should come inside this exec SQL and end exec. So it's like a delimiters. So this is a starting delimiter. This is a ending delimiter. So within which whatever you code, that belongs to SQL. And that is how the pre-compiler will understand it. So it will translate this to COBOL. Whatever comes between exec SQL and end exec, the pre-compiler will translate it so that COBOL can compile. Otherwise, if you put this to COBOL compiler, this will give a COBOL compiler error. It can't understand this. Okay, that is what it is. This is a standard thing we will use. Later on, when we do CICS, similarly, CICS also we will do exec CICS instead of exec SQL. So that's the same pattern we'll follow. So for CICS commands, so SQLs, we have to always embed them within these two statements, exec SQL and end exec, and they should come. See, the COBOL, we have this area A, area B. Area A is column 8 and area B is column 12 and above. So we should type this in area B only. If you put it in area A, you will get a compile error. You will get a pre-compile error. So that is generally many people get stuck in there because they don't understand the compile message. Actually, this has to be done carefully. I'll show you that. And the copybook will have some variables. There are a lot of variables in the copybook, but only one variable will use. It's called SQL code. In Spoofy itself, we have seen every time you execute the SQL, it will give either 0 or some other negative code. We can also get 100. 100 doesn't mean it's an error. It's just an information that no more rows are there. So different SQL codes will have different meanings. When you remember, when we did insert statement, we got different SQL codes, -803, -530, -545, foreign key
Yes.
violation, check constraint violation, right? Date, invalid date, -180, -181. So that is SQL code. So this SQL code, when you run the SQL in DB2 and you are connecting it to COBOL program, right? So after running a SQL, I want to know whether it gives 0 or not. So this message, that this code will be passed as a part of the variable in this copybook. This is a DB2 copybook, which will simply include. So the DB2 copybook will have this SQL code, which is the only variable we'll use. Though other variables are there, okay, which we rarely use. It will have some information about other state of that SQL execution. But normally, if we get the SQL code, that is enough for us. So we'll know whether the SQL executed successfully or what exactly the error we got, whether it's a date, invalid date or invalid check constraint or duplicate record, whatever it is, we will get through this SQL code. So this is defined inside this copybook called SQL CA. So any DB2 program that you use in COBOL, any COBOL program that uses DB2 SQLs must have this SQL CA copybook. Okay, without which you will get an error when you try to compile the program. So this is mandatory. So there are many SQL codes, but in general, 0 means successful. Greater than 0 means information or warning. Less than 0 means it is a negative value. It means it's an error. Okay, execution was not successful. These are the things we have to remember. So most of the times we will get either 0 or a negative number. But 100 we will give whenever you try to do a select statement or update statement. And that particular where class which we have given, where employee number is equal to so and so or whatever, that condition was not satisfied. Means no rows satisfied that condition. So in that case, you will get 100. It's an information. It's not an error. It's just an information. So this also is very useful for many of our queries. So this program preparation process, we will come back to this probably a little later also, one more time. So at that time, you will understand it better. But just an overview of that. As I said, you have your COBOL source code, right? This source code will have both embedded SQL as well as our normal COBOL statements. Now, one more step will be added in the compile process. It's called the DB2 pre-compile process. This DB2 pre-compile process will produce two outputs. One is the COBOL, pure COBOL output. Basically, any SQL statement also will get converted to COBOL. So that's called non-SQL, that is COBOL statements. So that COBOL statement, it will be put in a temporary file. That temporary file will be taken as an input in the JCL. You will do a normal compile and link edit of the COBOL compiler. The normal step we'll use, that will create the load module finally. So this is one route. This is on the COBOL side. What about the SQL? See, SQL will not be a part of the load module I told. So this COBOL load module will have only call statements to DB2. It won't have the ability to execute the SQL because SQL can be executed only inside DB2, not outside. So that part of the code where you have given select statement, update statement, insert statement, whatever it is, that will be stripped out and it will be put here. It is written SQL. Actually, it's called DBRM, database request module. So all the SQLs will come in a database request module. Okay, that DB2 can understand. So DBRM is like a object code. Like in COBOL, we get object code and then we create it to load module. Similarly, DBRM will be created here. It's like an object code that has to be converted into executable form of SQL. That is where one more step we will use called the bind step. There's another step in the JCL. This bind step will convert that DBRM to what you call it as some form of executable inside the DB2 directory. The DB2 has an object called directory inside which this is called a plan. So, or a package. We'll discuss this in detail, as I said, a little later. So we can either create a package or a plan, but package also finally has to go into a plan. Through the plan, we can execute the SQL. So when you run the program finally, there are two things we will need. One is the load module of the COBOL program, and the other one is the plan in which the SQL statements are staying. Okay, so the plan part is not mentioned here, but let's see the next slide. So you can see here, this will give a better picture for you. So this is what I was telling. One part is the modified non-SQL COBOL code, which will get compiled and get into the load module. The other part of it, as I said, DBRM. So the SQL part will get converted to DBRM, which is like an object code of the SQL. Then that DBRM will be given as an input to this bind package. Actually, there's one line missing here. This DBRM will be the input to the bind package. This bind package will be the input for the bind plan. And there are actually two steps. Bind package is one step, bind plan is another step. But this bind plan, we don't have to do it every time. We have to do it only once. If you do it once, that is enough. So bind package will automatically put the package in the plan. And the plan is the one which we will use in our run JCL. This during bind package, it will also refer to what is called as a DB2 catalog. DB2 catalog is nothing but a set of internal tables used by DB2. Okay, it will have all the inventory, like which user created which table, which index, which objects, everything will be there in the catalog. So internally, DB2 will use this. We can also query this and see if required. We'll see that. I'll show you some examples of that when we do this. So bind package is the step that we'll use. It will automatically put the kind of executable code in the bind plan. So bind plan is like, you can think like a load library, somewhat similar to a load library, a plan. I am saying plan is like a load library. So this load library, what do we do in COBOL? Whenever we compile, the member goes and sits in the load library. So from the load library, we execute our program. Similarly, any SQLs which are a part of your program will go and sit into this plan. So you can execute your SQL through this plan, but for that, we have to follow some proper JCL steps. Then we will do it. So this looks complex, but actually when you run it, it is very easy. Everything is a JCL step. So we just have to just compile and run it. It will run smoothly. Only the compile errors and the logic errors we have to take care. So otherwise, as a programmer or a developer, we don't have to worry about all this, but we should be aware of this. What are the steps happening in the background? When you say bind package, you should understand what is bind package. Okay, this is again very important from the interview perspective, because this is a very basic concept. So most of the DB2 interviews, they ask this question, can you explain program preparation? If they say explain program preparation, you have to draw this diagram and show them. This is what is program preparation in DB2. For that thing, you have to remember this. You have to understand it and remember it both. Okay, so this diagram is important from that perspective, interview perspective, because this is the fundamental thing. So you should know when you just put your SQL inside your COBOL, how does it run? COBOL will not recognize SQL, right? How does it run? And SQL will run only in DB2. So how they are connected, interconnected. So this is what you have to understand. So your program, when it runs, it will use both this load module and the plan as input. Okay. So normally when we run our program, we will say exec program equal to program name. So that we can't do. Actually, we have to run one utility program for which we will give both of them as input. One input is load module, another input is plan. So only when you give both the inputs, your program will run properly. Okay, so that is how DB2 programming is very different from the normal COBOL program. Okay, so this diagram we will revisit maybe after a couple of days. So by that time you would have practiced a few programs. At that time, if you go through this again, you will find it easy to understand. Okay, so when you relate it with the JCL, you will find it what is happening. Okay, don't worry. Now you may just have to just understand this is the process, but it's easy to remember when you start practicing it. Okay, because in the JCL, but remember every time when you use a JCL, you should always understand what are the steps in the JCL, what each step is doing, and what are the input and output of each step. So that you must understand. You should be in a position. That's why you should be in mainframe, whether you are any part of mainframe work. It will involve JCL in one or other place. Okay. So you should be very strong in JCL. Okay. Actually, this SQL we have been running through Spoofy, right? That Spoofy itself, we can put it in JCL. I didn't show you that, right? For that, we need to have one program which should be a part of your library. If it is there, we can execute. Mostly it will be there, but in some installations it won't be there. So in those cases, it won't work. I will show you that today. How to run a SQL through JCL. So the output will come in the JCL output itself. So that also we can do anyway. So, but what I'm trying to say is JCL, you should be very strong. Okay. And obviously COBOL, because when you come on the application side, COBOL is the only thing. You have to be very, very strong. And DB2 anyway, it's a universal, it's a database which is used by almost 90% of the clients. So you should be strong in DB2 also. These are the three things very important from the application perspective. VSAM, it is very easy. There's nothing much is there, but you should be aware of it. That's it. They don't use VSAM that much on the application side. On the system programming side, they use many of their configuration files and all that. It will go into the VSAM files. That is typically they use LDS or KSDS files they use. So VSAM is not that much used on the application side, but you should be just aware of the basics. But what is mostly used is normal our PS files in COBOL as well as the SQL statements. So this process, you should be aware of it. You may not be dealing with this process as such, except for the compilation steps, but you should be aware. See, whenever they ask you to explain one JCL, you should be able to explain the JCL properly. Okay, interpret the JCL. So any JCL, if I give you, you should know what it is doing. You may be looking it for the first time, but you should be able to get some idea what is it input and what is the output. Somewhat you should be able to interpret it. So then only you can be very comfortably work in the mainframe environment. Okay, JCL is the fundamental thing in mainframe. It's not there in any other platform, right? DB2 is there, and SQL is there, COBOL is there. COBOL can run on Windows also. So they are multi-platform. Okay, but JCL is not multi-platform. JCL will run only on mainframe, right? So you should be very, very strong in that. All right, so this step is called as a pre-compiler step, right? This is one JCL step which will produce two outputs. One is DBRM, other one is modified source code. So you can see here what is the input for a pre-compiler. There's a program like our COBOL compiler program is IGY CRCTL. All that you should note down and remember. Some interviewer they may ask what is the name of the compiler, COBOL compiler, what is the name of the pre-compiler. This is the name of the pre-compiler, DSN HPC. So that you will see in the JCL. Okay. So that's why I said you should understand the JCL properly. So input is your COBOL program, which will also have embedded SQL. What is the output? Two outputs. One is your modified source code, means your COBOL program, where all your SQL statements will be commented and it will be replaced by COBOL statements. That is what this pre-compiler will do. So that code can be compiled by the normal COBOL compiler. Okay. The other output is DBRM. DBRM is what? All the SQL part of this program will be extracted separately. So it will basically anything you put in exec SQL, like include, select statement, update, everything will come inside this DBRM. So this DBRM, there are two paths. One is the COBOL path, other one is the SQL path. Okay. So the output will be two outputs, modified source code and DBRM. The database request module is generally called as DBRM. Okay. So pre-compiler, obviously SQL CA, as I said, it must be a part of the every DB2 program that we write, should be there. And then only we can embed our SQLs. Okay. All right. So what else? So the pre-compiler will, that's what I've been repeating again and again. So it separates the SQL from non-SQL and places the SQL statements in DBRM and non-SQL statements, that is COBOL statements, that is equivalent COBOL statements in the temporary file, which will get compiled by the COBOL program later in that sequence. Okay. Pre-compiler does not necessarily access the DB2. It will use your definition of the table. Yeah, your definition of the table also we have to give. Any table that you use, we will create something called as a decalgen, which we have to use, and without which your pre-compiler will not understand your SQL. Pre-compiler will try to understand your SQL in the sense it will try to check whether your SQL is as per the table declarations, right? Okay, if you suppose you are saying select A from table A, so it will verify based on the table declaration that you have given whether your column name is correct, whether your table name is correct. Syntax error, SQL syntax it will check. That's all. For that we have to generate something called as another copybook called as decalgen. So that once you do, you can use it in all the programs. You have to do it for each table that you use. You have to create what is called as a decalgen. Okay, so that is DBRM. Bind, as I said, there are two parts of the bind plan and bind package. I will probably talk about this a little later. Will confuse you if I tell everything on the same day. Anyway, finally, as I said, decalgen we have to create for every table that we use. There is one small tool inside the in the DB2 menu option. We have used option 1, it's spoofy, right? There's also another option called decalgen. So which we will do it today, and that is how you can run a DB2 program. Okay, and how do you connect the data part? How do you connect the SQL data with the COBOL variables, right? We are going to use COBOL variables. So this decalgen will generate the COBOL variables for the columns, DB2 columns. So those COBOL variables, which is specifically used by the SQL statements inside the embedded SQL, they are called as host variables. So host variable means it's just a normal COBOL variable, but exclusively used for DB2 operations. That's all you have to remember. Okay. So, so whenever I say host variable means it will be used in your embedded SQL. Okay. It can be used outside embedded SQL also, obviously. But typically it is used to communicate with DB2. Okay. Anything that you want to send will go through the host variable. Anything you want to receive from DB2, that also you will use the host variable. Basically, DB2 has column name, right? Column 1, column 2. So we need the equivalent COBOL variable name. So instead of we typing it manually, that tool will generate it for you. That is the decalgen tool. So it will just generate it and give it to you in your copybook, which will simply, we will include it in our program. So as I said, all these are very, very easy from the programming perspective. Only thing is the conceptually you have to understand all of them. Okay, from the programming perspective, it's very easy. Okay. All right. Any host variable that you use inside the COBOL program, in the embedded SQL, you must have a prefix colon. That is a syntax. That's all. Okay. Inside, outside you don't need, obviously. Inside you have to use this. Okay. So in the same variable you use outside, you do not use the colon. Okay. That is what it is. When you do decalgen, what it will do is for every table, you'll have some columns. Each column will have a data type, right? Small int, integer, decimal, character, like that. So what it will do is it will create equivalent COBOL variables. For example, small int, the equivalent COBOL variable, it will give like this. For example, N1 is the column name. This N1, assuming N1 is the column name, it will give something like this. N1 pick S9 of 4 comp. So small int means 2 bytes. S9 of 4 comp also is 2 bytes. Integer means 4 bytes. S9 of 9 comp will be 4 bytes. Okay. Decimal 5 comma 2. Decimal 5 comma 2 means it's 5-digit number with 2 decimals. So in COBOL it will be 3 plus 2. S9 of 3, V9 of 2. In COBOL we have comp 1, comp 2, comp 3, comp 4. Please go through that if you have forgotten. Comp 3 is generally used with this in these situations. We use normally usage display, which is the default for display purpose. But in programs, in projects, you will always see this comp3 or comp. Comp means comp4. You can either say comp4 or comp, both are same. So you will find this very commonly in your COBOL programs in the production environment. So numeric variables, mostly they will use comp4 or comp3. If you don't give any of them, it means default. Default is usage display, means you will be able to display. We discussed all these things in the COBOL. So if you've forgotten, you have to go through that video. Okay.
Okay.
Comp1 and comp2, this is 4 bytes, this is 8 bytes. So when you give float data type, it will get converted to comp1. When you give double data type, it will get converted to comp2, but there are some other variations also. Anyway, so this is all it will, this conversion, we don't have to do it. The Decalgen will do it for you automatically. Okay, it's very, very easy. I'll show you that. So depending on the data type, it will convert. See, where character is very simple. Character 10 means it will get converted to X of 10, the COBOL variable. So, varchar is a little tricky because varchar means DB2 will store only that many bytes required, right? Suppose varchar 80, the value is ABC. It will store only 3 bytes. It will take only 3 bytes. Okay, though even though the maximum we can have is 80 bytes. So in COBOL, we don't have a direct representation of this. Because COBOL, we don't have a varchar data type. We have only 3, right? 9, X, and A. So how it will translate is it in two variables. Suppose the variable column name is string 1. So it will put 01 string 1. Then in 02, that is the next level, it will put the length and the text. The length will contain the actual length of the data. Okay, maximum is 80, but data may be only 10 or 15 or 2 or 3, whatever. So that length will be stored here. When you receive the data, it will be stored here. When you send the data, you have to store it here and send it. So this is where the tricky part is I would say is rather interesting part. It's a varchar only. So you have to handle this carefully, otherwise you will get some errors. So whenever you have a varchar variable, make sure that you give the length and the text properly. When you send the data to DB2, like insert, update, all that, when you receive it, automatically DB2 will give this length to you and the text here. Okay, the maximum value of text is whatever is the column thing you have given. If you have given 80, here also it will come 80. Graphic, where graphic, we don't use it unless you use international languages. That's when we go for graphic, where graphic. We will not cover that. So date, time, and timestamp, these are again other data types, right? The date data type will get converted to COBOL X of 10. Time X of 10 means that will be in typically ISO format, YYYY-MM-DD. It can be also in US format. It depends on the setting. We will normally get it in ISO format by default. Time format is nothing but hour, minute, second, and milliseconds. Okay, that will be 8 bytes. And timestamp, as I told, we have seen that in the past, right? 26 bytes. It will be having microseconds at the end, 6-digit microseconds. So this is how it will get converted into COBOL. Okay. Now, probably we will create one sample table. We'll put the most of these data types so that you understand the Decalgen part of it. But not all the tables will have all the data types, right? So that's for your understanding. Probably we can create one. Then there is one menu option in which we will just go, and this we will see now. Go to this table, give the table name and give the Decalgen, generated Decalgen. So there are some options to generate the Decalgen. I'll show you those options a little later. By default, we'll use something, and it will generate the variables. So that's what we'll see today. And the output will be 2 parts in the copybook. One is the table structure itself will give, whichever table you used as an input, that structure will come. And the variable declarations, depending on the data type. For example, employee number is character 4, right? So it will convert it to X of 4. Employee name is where_char. So where_char means it will have both this length and text. So that will. Salary is decimal. So it will get converted to this S9 of whatever, COM3. Hire date is date. You can see date will get converted to X of 10. And here decimal again, same, it will get converted. Department number character 4 is X of 4. So like that, it will get converted. We don't have to do anything. We just have to simply use this in our program. That's it. Very, very easy. We will use that. And embedded program, as I said, is very easy. Look at this sample program. All we have to do is exec SQL in the working storage section, data division. We have to declare this mandatorily in area B. As I said, every DB2 program should have this. And apart from that, any table you use, the corresponding declension, for example, here, the declension of whatever the member name that you're going to use, that you have to put it here, include member name. So it will get all these variables in the working storage section. Then you can use them in your working storage section. For example, here, what we are doing, procedure division, we are just saying, I want to select some employee information. So I'm moving this E001 to employee number. Okay, that I will give in the where class. Select employee number, employee name into. Okay, when you select some columns, in Spoofy, it will come in the output automatically, right? In COBOL, we have to put it in a variable. To put it in a variable, you have to use this into class. Into this WS employee number and WS employee name. You can do like this. Instead of this, this is not a good practice. You should use this declension variables. Okay, here you can do this also, but this is not recommended. The best way to do it is put it in the declension variables, and then you can transfer it to some other working storage variable. Unfortunately, this is not a good practice, though it will work. It's not a good practice. You should always use the declension variables inside the exec SQL. That doesn't mean it won't allow any other variable. It will allow any variable, but to avoid errors and to keep the code standard, you should try to use only the declension variables. Only certain cases where we cannot use declension variable. For example, you say count, select count of employee number. See, there won't be any declension variable for that. You have to declare your own post variable for that. So any variable that is declared in this copybook of declension is called as a host variable. Okay. So
Okay.
yeah, that's it. Then it will come into this variable. Then you can check the SQL code. As I said, automatically this SQL code will be populated. Every time you do exec SQL, SQL code will be populated, and you check the SQL code. 0 means no errors. Otherwise, there is some error. Okay. So that's how you write your logic. This logic is just for your understanding. This is not a properly written COBOL program, but this program will give you the idea what it involves. That's it. Okay. But properly, when you write, the code will be much bigger. We have to properly put it in paragraphs and all. We should not be writing. This is like college student code. Or in projects, they will not write like this. Okay. For training purpose, it is okay. But in a professional code, they will not write like this. So anyway, um, maybe you will have more work for the next 1 week until we finish DB2, in the sense you have to write some programs. Even one program will take more time. So keep that in mind. So you have to do some, put some effort to write the COBOL program, which uses DB2. Okay.
Okay.
So unless you put that effort, you will not get that confidence. Even if you write two programs, it is enough, but that you should write on your own and completely understand it. You can always refer to any source, but you should understand it. That is very important. So the procedure used to compile whatever, there is some proc which are referred, is not for us. Okay. So this is how the JCL will look like. I mean, it will vary from system to system. Similar, it will be something like this, but we will see what is there in the system. Do all that. Okay. So these are the basics of embedded SQL. So we'll visit some part of this a little later. That time we'll find it much more easy to understand. So let's go into the coding part of it now. So my Okay, so let's see a very small example, something similar to that, which we saw there, like select employee number or department number, something like that. We'll see. Very, very easy. Or we can probably insert also. We'll probably insert one row in the department table. Very easy to do it using embedded SQL. Only thing is, we have to ensure that the steps are followed. We have to try it for your ID also to ensure that it works. Okay.
Okay.
First thing I will do is create the decalgen. So we need one library for it. I don't know whether I already created the library. Otherwise, we have to create. We have to have something like this. LMS. I'm using LMS, right? LMS dot. We have to create some libraries called DBRM live, where the DBRM will go. It is already there. I've already created normal library. Another library is called decalgen. This also we should have. So I've created two libraries already. So you have to create these two libraries. So inside this decalgen, I'm going to put some data. Let's see what is there already. Decalgen. LMS.decalgen. There's some customer table. You can see something similar. So this table column names will come here. Then the expanded version. If it is a varchar, whenever you see these two level numbers, it means it's a varchar. Okay, so customer name is a varchar, customer email is a varchar. You can understand that. Okay. Now let us do it for department table. Okay, right now we don't have department table here. How to do that? Open a new screen, go to M, and then we go to 14, right? For DB2, we go to 14. So go to 14. Normally we use 1 for Spooky, right? Now for Decalgen, we should use 2. Okay, this 2 option 2, right? So we'll use this now. That input, you have to give the table name here. I have to give department. Now I want to generate a Decalgen for department. Then I have to give this library where it is lms.decalgen, and the member name need not be same as the table name. It can be same, it need not be same. It is up to you because table name can go up to more than 8 characters, whereas member name cannot become more than 8 characters. Accordingly, you have to do. In this case, it is, I can keep it same. So I'm just keeping it same because it's a smaller this thing, or I can do something like this also. For example, I put T1 here. Okay. So this is a member name which will have the decalgen of this department table. I'm just doing it purposely differently so that you should know it can be different. Okay. But many times people will also keep it same, but it can be same all the time. As long as this is less than 8 characters, we can keep it same. Otherwise, we have to give some other name here. Anyway, so here we will say replace and we'll keep all these options as no. I will show you what will happen. I'll tweak these options a little later, so that you can tweak it and use it in your program. Accordingly, the variable names we can manipulate how it will look like. So right now I will keep the variable name similar to the table column name. So when I press enter, it should generate the decalgen and it will put it in this member called T1. Now you'll see when I press enter, it just said execution complete, member T1 added. Now I go back to that library. I refresh this now. Now you can see T1 came. If you open this T1, now you will see the structure of the table. There will be two parts. The first part will have the structure of the table. So what is the structure of the table? It has these 4 columns, right? Department number, department name, and the definition of that. So this is called as declaration of the table. This is called table declaration. Okay, which you will get inside this member of this copybook. Okay. The equivalent host variable names. In this case, both will be same. Okay, because here we don't have underscore or anything. If you have underscore, it will get converted to dash in COBOL. We have to see that in another example, we will see. So now you can see this department number character 3. It got converted to X of 3. And varchar, it got converted to length and text. Okay, it will become all varchars will always be a group variable name. In the group variable name, we'll have 2 elementary variables, which is length and text. This is standard. S9 of 4. Length will be always S9 of 4, comp 4 or comp 5. And this text will be whatever the length you have given, maximum length. Then this is again character. So this is very straightforward. This is how it will get converted, the declension. Now we have to use this declension inside our COBOL program. So what I will do is, now I'm going to write a COBOL program from scratch using this DB2. Okay, so that you will understand it better. Otherwise, I can show you an existing program, but if I write it from scratch, you will find it easy to remember. What are the how we write a simple DB2 embedded SQL inside a COBOL program. Okay, so let's try to do that. I think I have this lms.db2. Okay, I already have something here, but I'm going to create this program, right? I call this as program 1, PGM1. Okay. So I'm going to write it from scratch. So this is select from a table. So what all we have to do? First, identification division. You have to remember COBOL program. Okay, structure of the COBOL program to some extent at least. A better the more you remember, the better it is. So because I've been using it for such a long time, I can remember. Otherwise, it takes time to remember it. You have to do it again and again, and only you can remember. So let's write this program. So what we'll have? Data division. Within data division, we'll have working storage section. And inside this working storage section, we have to declare some variables. Okay. Now, DB2 variables, anything to do with DB2 variables. So I'll put it separately. So DB2 variables, what are the DB2 variables? I can declare, of course, I have to say, I've said you have to do this exec SQL, this include, you can write it in a single line also. And I normally do it like this so that you can understand it better. The SQL CA copybook, it's a system copy. I'm including it here. And one more thing I have to include is whatever table I'm using, I have to include that. Right now, I'm using this department table. What is the member name I gave for the department table? T1. So that's why I'm saying T1. See, when I say department here, people get confused. They think it is a table name. We don't give the table name here. It's a member name. That's why I gave it differently. Okay. Understood?
Yes.
So this is the member name. Okay, that represents the department table. Okay, that's the structure of the department table and the host variables. Now, some more DB2 variables we can declare on our own. It is up to us. So only one variable will declare for now. Any variable you want, you can declare. This is a normal COBOL working storage section. So here I will declare some WS miscellaneous as a group name. And that I'll put one variable called WS SQL code. Because the SQL code is binary, when you try to print it, it won't print it properly. So I'm going to print it like this, -9 of 3 edit numeric. So whenever it is negative number, it will come properly. So you can see I take some care to write the program properly, not like a college student. Okay, right. Now, these are some variables which I'll use. I can use more variables. This is specific for DB2 operations. Now, normal COBOL variables, yeah, you can use. If you want to declare any other variable, you can declare. Otherwise, you can go directly to the procedure division. So let's see what we can do. As required, we'll create the variables. So in the procedure division, I'm going to insert one row in the department table, let's say. So let me see. Let's see what the data currently in the department table. I think I have select here. So currently I have 9 rows, right? So let me add some row here, okay? Through the program, okay? So how will I do that? I have to perform an insert statement. So I'm going to take some data from the sysint. Okay. So that I need some values for that. So normal COBOL variables I have to declare now. Now what I want from sysint, in sysint I want to take these columns, right? Department number, department name, manager number, ADMR department. I want to accept this and use it in my COBOL program. Insert it in the DB2 table. So for that, I need to accept it, right? So I have to declare some variable for that. So I will copy it here. So now the variable names, I will call this as WS department. And in WS department, I will have WS department number. So which is, I think, you can see that, okay, the Decalgen, we can see the structure here. Okay, department number is 3 bytes, X of 3. Okay, look at this, it's 3 bytes. So the equivalent X variable, I will give X of 3 here. Then we have department name. So whatever you want to pass on, you should have some working storage variable to accept it from sysint. Department name is 30 characters. So I'll give 30. Then the third one is manager number, MGR number. That is 6 bytes, employee number, I think. MGRNO. This is 6 bytes. Then ADMR department. ADMR. I use the same spelling that with a WS prefix so that it's easy for us to understand. Okay, so these are the things I want to accept from the sysint. So I'm going to perform some paragraphs. I normally write my COBOL program with some paragraphs with some numbering convention. Normally, if you see many COBOL programs, they use this numbering conventions. I don't know whether I talked about this. Did I talk about numbering convention to you?
Yes, yeah, you told me.
1,000 will call 1,100,
Yes,
1,100 will call 11,111, like that. So you will see I follow that kind of coding style. Many projects use something similar to this. So in it, I think this kind of coding we have done in COBOL. So init para, process para, then terminate para. So normally terminate, I'll give it 9,000 terminate. Or you can have then stop run. Either you can give the stop run inside the terminate or you can give it here. So these paragraphs I'm going to create. Now 1,000 init. In the init para, any initialization you want to do, you can do. In my case, I'm going to accept it. Accept this data. Okay, I'll just copy this. So I want to accept these variables, right? So I'll say accept WS department number and similarly other 3 variables I want to accept. Copy, paste. To see. Okay, so I'm doing 4 accept statements for the 4 columns which I want to insert in the table. I'll remove this now. Then what else I need? I can display what I accepted. I can say display WS department is equal to WS department. This is in the group variable. So we can see what we accepted. That's it. I think we don't need much in this init. Let's go to the process para. This 2,000 process. So what I want to do here, I want to insert this row. Okay, that's all I want to insert. So I'm going to say here 2,100 insert record or I can just say add record. So I want to add this department record. Then accordingly, anyway, I'll just, that's all I'm doing here. 2100 add record. Okay, I'll put some more statements. In add record, I'm going to say exec SQL db2 statement insert into department values. This is our SQL. But here, instead of hard coding the values, I'm going to give the variable names. Which variable names I should give? I should give the host variables. What are the host variables? These are the host variables. Okay, this is what you should give. Do not give the working storage variable, though it will work. Okay, sometimes it won't work. So department number, department name. You can see I'm giving a colon because any variable you refer inside SQL should have a colon. Okay, MGR number and ADMR DPT. If you make some mistakes in that, you will get compile error. Okay, when you don't give the colon, all that, you get a compiler. Okay, so this is all insert statement will do. End exec. Now, once you do any SQL statement, how do you know whether it was successful or not? So that is where that SQL CA copybook comes into picture. It's a communication area. DB2 will communicate to you through the SQL code. So you check the SQL code. If the SQL code is 0 means no problems. Okay. When 0 means no errors, you can say display record added. Okay. If the primary key, in our case, primary key is department number. If it's already there, it will give -803. So in this case, you have to say display this WS department number, which we are trying to insert, is already present. If it is some other error, when other, you terminate the program. Perform with an error message. Right? So you can probably use some other para for this, maybe 9100, or I will say 9900 error, and evaluate. Are you able to follow the code so far?
Yes.
Okay. Now the point is I'm accepted in the working storage section, but I'm inserting the host variables. So we have to move the data from the working storage section to the host variable. Otherwise, it will insert junk. Okay. So before adding, we have to say move WS DPT number to DPT number, host variables. You have to give the values to the host variable which you want to insert or update, whatever it is. Then only you should do that operation. Should not do it without that. Okay. Now let's do the other ones. DPT name, MGR. I have given MGRO, MGRNO. Okay, then ADMR DPT, ADMR DPT. Here also DPT name, MGRNO, ADMR. So I have accepted something and I'm moving those values to the host
DPT
variables.
hyphen name, right?
Which one?
The department name, DPT
No, I
hyphen
think
name.
hyphen will not. This is wrong.
Okay.
Okay, in our columns, we don't have, right? Look at this. We don't have any hyphen or dash. So this is the variable. This is the variable. Okay, now one more catch. If it is a varchar, you can't insert directly to this. You have to
Mm.
move values to this length and the text variables separately. Okay. That is
Mm.
the catch of varchar. So now I should say move WS department name to text part. The question is, how will I get the length part? So length for now, I'm going to hard code it, but actually you should calculate the length of the data that you want to insert. Okay, if it is ABC, then you should pass 3. If it is ABCD, you should pass 4. Maximum is 30. So I am passing the maximum, which is not a good practice. I will show you how to calculate the length also. That's a COBOL code. Okay, you have to use the inspect function, and I don't know whether I told you to do this length of the variable. I think there is one assignment on that. Compute the length of the variable from sysint. So you should be able to do that using one inspect statement on the function. You can get the length, you can calculate the length, or you can hard code the length. If you want to calculate the exact length, for that we have to use one more variable. Let's do that also. It's only getting late. Can we spend another some more time? Okay,
Yeah.
right? Because
Yes, yes, no problem.
okay, because I want you to do some assignment, attempt some assignment based on the similar code you can write. Maybe you can try to insert the data in the director table, right? Or the
Mm.
actor table. Like that, you can try to insert. So I'm showing you the code from scratch, but you can do copy paste and do. You don't have to write it from scratch. But as long as you understand, it's fine. So now, right now I'm hard coding it here. Okay, hard coding is not a good practice. You should actually calculate the length. How will you calculate the length? I will use one working storage variable here. WS, always DB2 miscellaneous. Okay, what I will use is I will use WS length. So it's just for our display purpose. You can use this. I want to compute the length. Of suppose I type ABC, it should give me 3. If I type ABCD, it should give me 4. So how to do that? That's a COBOL logic. Simple. You have to say inspect function reverse of WS DPT name. What is the syntax? Inspect function reverse for leading spaces. Tallying. Can't forget COBOL. If you forget COBOL, you can't do any application programming. Okay, or understand anything. Tallying WS count. What is that? WS length. Okay, for leading spaces. So this will give the what it will give. It will give the number of leading spaces. Okay. This actually we should have one more variable here. We don't need this variable actually. Anyway, 1 minute, just a minute. Okay, so what I'm doing is I can't count trailing spaces. So I'm converting it to leading spaces and I'm counting it. So maybe I will say here count spaces. Okay, how many spaces are there? So, and then I have to subtract that from the original length. That's how you do that in tallying WS count spaces. Then you have to say compute WS length is equal to length of the variable, length of department name minus the spaces, trailing spaces, count spaces. Then that should give the length. Let's try that. Anyway, we'll display it so that we'll know whether it's working correctly. That's why I put a length variable here. WS length is equal to WS length. Right. So then we should move this WS length. We should not be hard coding this value. We should say move WS length. That is the correct way to do this. If you hard code, it will work, but it's not correct. You are putting ABC, but you are putting length as 30. That is not correct. Should give according to the length. The varchar means you should give the exact length. That is what is the use of varchar. Okay, so now we have moved the data to the host variables and we are trying to insert it. After inserting, if you get SQL code other than this, we have to stop the program. So how to stop the program? We have to put some, see already we have 9000 terminate. Terminate what I'm saying, I'm not saying anything. Just going to put a display here, display program. And similarly, error 9900 error. When there is an error, I want to stop the program. Program ended with error. So what is error? So the error, you should display that error message. Okay, so we'll call this a variable called message, WS message. Now the message variable we have to declare. So you can see I declare the variable as needed. Okay, I can't think about all the variables I need in the beginning of the code. WS message. I want to any message, I will put it in this variable. I'll just put X of 80 here. Now, what is the message I want to give? Depends on the SQL code, right? And here, first of all, I have to capture the SQL code in the move SQL code to WS SQL code. Then I'm using COBOL. But a lot of COBOL, it is 95% COBOL and less than 10% DB2. Okay. String error message. What is the error message? Insert failed with SQL code. So I have to tell what SQL code I have. WS SQL code delimited by size into WS message. So before you call the error para, you always give a message because that's what the error para will display. Okay. So the error para will always display the message and then it will stop run. Will stop the program. Okay, so which part of the code you did not understand? Are you able to follow everything so far? I've written the code from scratch.
Yes, yeah.
Okay, so this is just to insert one row. See how much code we are writing. Just to insert one row in a table from small table, the two, right? So this is the code which should take care of accepting the data from sysint and moving the data to the host variables. Then calculate the length of the varchar as required. Here it is. Okay. And if there is varchar, you should compute the length and then you should insert it using the insert statement. You may get any SQL code. Suppose there's a date field here. Suppose you give some invalid data for the date. Then you will get minus 180, minus 181, all that. You have to give the error message. Of course, then you will get this here. We are capturing the SQL code. So with the SQL code, we can make out what went wrong, possibly. Okay, so that's what we are capturing the SQL code. Where the SQL code will come, it will be in the SQL CA. That variable we did not declare. That variable will be inside this copybook. This is a system DB2 system copybook, which will be automatically taken by the pre-compiler. Okay, so the program part is only this much. Program part is easy. So only thing is JCL part you have to understand. So let's I'm going everything in LMS, right? I should put it here. April 26th, then only you will understand. TRNR 004 dot. What do I have here? Anyway, I don't have compile JCLs here. Only thing I can do is I will create one source code here, april26.db2, so that you can access my code. Right. So I'm going to copy that program to april26.db2. Okay. Now the code is here. I'll refer to this code here. Okay. Now April 26. Now this one I have to compile. So the compile JCL, you can, where I have, I think I don't have it in LMS. Where I have to compile JCL, I have in many places. Maybe I think you would have already copied it, but anyway, otherwise I think it should be there in demo, for which you will already have access. So anyway, so what I'm going to do is copy these three JCLs, hash1, hash2, hash3, and there is one base CL called buying plan. Yeah. So I'm going to copy this in April 26 so that you can access this. April 26, I will call it hash 5. Not there. No. Yeah. Allocate it. So it got copied. Now let's go to April 26. Hash compile. Just give April 26 here. So I'm going to compile the program. You have to follow multiple steps here. So now step 1, change all demo to April 26. Okay, so now you should have this DB2 load live, DBRM live, all that you should have. I think I already have it. So if not, you have to create this two thing, and Decalgen also you have to create. Now April 26.Decalgen, I don't think I have, because I did it in LMS dot thing. Okay, let me copy that also. LMS dot Decalgen. Copy this D1 to April 26.Decalgen. Now, so Decalgen library and my source code are here. Other ones, copy live. I already have, I think. Anyway, try to compile it. Some library is not there, so anyway, crib about that. Need all this. It's some problem. The member name is wrong. Member name should be PGM1. So this will have all that pre-compile step, compile everything. Okay. All that steps will be there. So now let's see. I'll just let's do hash 1 and let's see the error. Okay, so the pre-compiler has given some error. Okay, let's go to that bottom. Return code is 4. 4 is not an error. 4 is just a warning. So I think I should change it here. I've given 4 less than. You should take that and proceed. I don't know why it's not proceeding. What it is saying here. This is okay. Is this a warning message? See, one thing you say, when you said include your detergent member name, you can see that it has copied it for you. The pre-compiler will copy it for you inside the program. That's what the include statement will do. It is similar to the copy statements of COBOL. So all that came here so that the COBOL compiler will get it. But here pre-compiler itself gave 4, which is fine, but I don't know why the next step did not run. Let's see here. There is some other problem. What is the problem? Because I changed all the library names. You can see that. Copy lib
Dataset
not
not
found.
found.
So I don't want copy lib right now. I can change this to itself. Okay, so it's taking some time. We purge all the old logs. Okay, no errors. Okay, no compile errors. At the compile, there's a step called bind. The bottom, it will do what is called as a bind package. I think I created a plan with my ID. Same thing you can do. It said get customer. Get customer is not the name of the program. Wrong. It should be PGM1. That's why I normally keep this bind in a separate step. So this is not a good practice. You will not know if there's a problem. Let's cut this. Get out of this. I think I have it here. Yeah, bind package. I will have it separately. Just say let's use this bind package. So here you should give this I'll call it hash2db2. Here give the member name as the program name pgm1. That's all you have to change. The plan name will fix it. Use the same plan name. And I don't think we have to change anything else. Should give 0. Give 4. Why it's giving 4. What is deprecated? Member option is deprecated. That's information. Okay. Information. So much of information is here. Successful, but what did I do here? Bind package, right here. Bind plan with the member name. Oh, this is wrong. A bind package I should do. What happened to my code? What do I do here? This bind plan package list. Correct. Bind package. Some confusion here. Delete this. Launch. Let's copy the correct code. Not sure whether I did bind package here. I have to do that. Hold on. Sample demo. Thought I made changes here, but looks like I've done it in some other system. Okay, for now, it may take some time for me to fix those things, but for now we will use this. There's something called bind package and then put it to plan. That is one way to do it. That's a correct way to do it. It's also a shortcut. I think I'm using a shortcut here, which I don't want to use. Uh, so I will call this as bind. DBR. Say bind. So later on, I will not use this. For now, it will automatically create the package and bind it, but I want to give my own package. Anyway, so now the plan name is very important here. This plan name TRNR004P. Okay. So that I should use in my run JCL. #3 is my run JCL. #3. So to avoid confusion for you, I will rename this to #2 DB2. Okay, you can run in this sequence. Later on, we will do bind package thing. I will change it at that time. Right now, I don't have time to do that. I did it in another system. I thought I did it here, but it is not here. Anyway, now I want to run the program. How to run the program? Okay, we don't need so many parameters. Okay, so now this is my load live. Load live is TRNR004. My program name is PGM1. All this thing, this is TRNR004. This one is again TRNR. Here I have to give the department number and all that, right? Department number slash this in DD star. Let's try that department number. Let me say X01 or H01. I'll give human resource. Then ADMR department or manager number. Which one comes? Manager number and ADMR department. Manager number. Let's give 00000. Department ADMR department D01. Okay, I'm just giving some input here. Let's see what happens. Trying to run this program one. Oh, let's go and check the output. Record added. Oh my God. Didn't give any error. Length, you can see it's 16. Length calculated properly. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. 15 actually. I don't know why it's saying 16. Anyway, we have to subtract 1. Okay, 1 extra character. It's actually 15. We have to subtract 1. That's one bug. But anyway, we'll see whether it inserted it. So let me go to the spoofy and run it again. Lakshmi, are you there?
Yes, I'm here.
I've been talking. So you can see that a record got added. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So I want you to try this. Can you do it now? I just want you to copy and compile and run. You don't have to do any coding. Just copy and follow the steps. I'll tell you.
Okay.
It will probably take 10 to 15 minutes. Okay.
Okay.
So that you will be ready to do your COBOL, I mean, if you want, you can try with another table also. I want you to try that with the director table. So if everything is proper, you can try that. That's what. Okay. Can you share
Okay.
your screen? I will tell you the steps. Just follow the steps. It should work.
Yes. Yeah.
Because you already have the department table. You just have to copy my members and then it should work.
Okay.
You can share your screen.
Mm.
First, we have to create some libraries because when you do it on your own, you will forget some steps. So it will not work. Get stuck. That's why I want to ensure that you have proper uh, environment ready so that we can try up the programs later on.
Okay.
So if there's any environment issue, we have to resolve it. That is the reason I want to check it right away.
Okay.
Okay, first, yeah, go to just here, give trnr April 26, trnr 004 dot April 26. Let's copy some libraries. We see to do that way. Dot star, yeah. Okay, now you give us co command. Don't give copy command, give co. Give co first one itself. Give co first library. You already have a compile library.
Yeah. Yes. For COBOL compiling, I have it.
Okay, anyway, let's create one separately here. That's okay. Give the co first line,
Here.
first library. Yeah. Give co, copy that. Okay, give a space star, select star. So for DB2, what you will give? Your ID dot how you have created the SQL, lakshmi dot SQL, huh?
Yes.
So here you just give lakshmi dot hash compile. I think you have to give that. Just in the name. Yeah, just give lakshmi dot hash compile. Do you already have that? If you already have it, also it's fine. Okay, no problem.
Okay.
Enter. Give one. You don't have it, so it will copy this. Okay, F3. Give the CO on the next one. That is the program. Just give select that PGM1. No, in the PGM1. Okay, give Lakshmi dot DB2, right? Yeah, enter. Again, give one here. Okay, F3. Then give same thing, Decalgen. Same thing you do. Dot Decalgen. One. Okay, next one. Actually, Decalgen you can generate later. We'll see that on the next class.
Okay.
Okay, one more thing, F3. Give trnr 004 dot db2 dot star. I don't know whether you have access here. Browse the first one, dbrm live. Anyway, that doesn't matter. We just have to create these libraries. Enter. Now in the command line, give equal to 3.2. Command line equal to 3.2. Give a allocate. Go down all the way. Here you give db2 dot load live. Load live. Enter. Enter. Again give allocate. You give db2 dot dbrm live. No, I think we made a mistake. No. Give again load live, but remove that a in the top. Give load live. I think that parameter we didn't change. Enter. Just press enter. Yeah, it should not be FB, it should be U. Okay, F3. Give D command, delete it. Enter. Okay, again give A. Now this time that record format, change it to U. Just give U there. That's it, enter. Again give A now. Go down. Call it DBRM live. Enter. Now this time you give FB. That U change it to FB. Again. Enter. Okay, now you say equal to 3.4. Let's also rename your decalgen. Give your ID dot lakshmi. Yeah, dot lakshmi. So that decalgen also we will spelling. Okay, here we have I think it's better to rename everything so that it will be easy to avoid the errors. Give the rename command in the first three libraries. Give RRR. We'll keep it same like mine so that will reduce the errors. Yeah, enter. Just instead of Lakshmi, put it DB2 there. So that the second qualifier, change it to DB2. Be easy to refer, otherwise we have to keep shifting. Enter. Same thing. So here you say db2.pgm. Otherwise, a lot of changes will be required in the JCLs. Then db2.decalgen. Yeah. Okay. Now F3. Give your ID.db2. Everything should come here. Very easy to follow. All right. So now edit the first one. Edit the first one, #1 here.
Edit.
Edit, yeah.
Okay.
Okay, give change all. TRNR004 space your ID. Okay, now again go change all, another command. Oh,
This April 26.
April 26 space DB2. Okay, now the first one say db2.pgm. Decalgen is okay. Copylib
This copylib.
the db2.pgm. Because I didn't have that, but so I load live is fine. DBRM live is fine, I think. Yeah, save it and submit it. Wait. Go to my correct. SSD. Yeah. Okay, leave it. 4 is fine. Go back to the first screen. Now F3. Open the second member. Do the same thing. Change all. TRNR004. Space your ID. Then what else we have to do? I think that's the only change required. Yeah, submit this. This is the bind step. Actually, I'll tell you some changes which we'll have to do on like 3. But anyway, submit it. It should run. Okay, F3. Open the third one. Yeah, this is the run JSTL. Before we run, open another screen, go to Spoofy. Let's verify your table. 14, 1. Okay, you can say here lakshmi.sql select. Yeah, enter. Yeah, instead of that, you just say department, select star from department, DEPT. Okay, run this. I think 9 rows will be there now. So yeah, we should add the 10th row. Now go back to your first screen. Okay, here again change all. Here another 00. Oh, here it wait. This one you got old one. I think I didn't save it. Uh, do one thing.
You can change
Anyway,
this ID, no?
manually you wait, come out F3. F3. Delete this hash 3. Give a D command for hash 3. Copy it again because I didn't save it in my library, so you got the old copy. Enter. Now copy it again. Go to open another screen. Go to trnr 004.april26. Copy it again. Yeah. Go to that hash compile, first one. You see on the third one, hash 3, you will see there. Okay, here you give what is that? db2 dot hash compile. Okay, go to the first screen. Refresh. Open the hash 3. Now trnr, change all to your ID. Now I think everything is fine, right? db2.load live, everything is fine. Yeah, should be able to run this, submit this. Okay, now go to screen number 4. No, spoofy, screen number 3. Run this again. You see the row got added, right?
Yes.
So that's it. So you can see programming part is very simple. Only you have to understand the steps that goes through the JCL, that bind and all that pre-compile. You have to understand what it is. So try to understand that properly because that is typically asked in interviews. Though we just simply submit the JCLs, we should know what the JCL is doing. Okay, so that's what it is doing. But anyway, I will explain it one more time next week, so you can understand it even better. So, but you can try now. This example is try to insert in department table, right? Try to do it in director table. It has only 2 columns: director ID, director name, right? So just change your program in such a way it will insert in the director table or actor table. You can try. Okay, any one of those tables. So that way it will be very easy. You know, it will be same program, only minor changes, right? Logic is same. Yeah. So make the changes and try to do that. So that will give you some confidence. Okay, you have some time. 3 days you have.
Yeah.
So SQLs and this program also you can try. Okay. Yeah, I think we will stop here. It got a bit late today, but I think this will help you to do some work in the weekend. Otherwise, unnecessarily we'll lose that time.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay, please try that and let me know in the next class how it went through. Okay, if you are stuck with any error, you can always send me. Okay.
Sure.
That is what I don't want you to get stuck with any error. That is why I ensured that the environment is ready now. Only the program you have to do and compile it and run it. Okay.
Okay.
Instead of PGM1, you can call it PGM2. So that's all. Then you should be able to do that. Okay.
Okay. Same program with minor
Different table.
changes, right?
But the table you have to declare the decalgen you have to generate. How will you generate?
Okay.
Okay, you do that right away. Okay. Go to M so that you don't get stuck because of that. So now we created T1 for department table, right? Like that, you can create something for this, let's say actor table. Okay, let's do it for actor. Okay, go to DB2, which is option 14. Yeah, here you give 2. Let's generate it for actor table. We'll call it T2. Okay. So here you say T2, go down and dataset name, tab, give a tab and then type single quote, your ID dot db2 dot decalgen bracket open T2. Sorry, not T2, table name. T2 only. Yeah, here it is T2. This is the member name, T2. Yeah, bracket close, single quote. There, in the line number 1, it should be table name, which is actor. This is where the confusion comes. That's why I want you to be aware of it. Okay. First one is the table name. Here is the member name. It need not be same or it can be same. Okay. Now that action, instead of add, you give replace there. So that it will be work for both the cases. If it's already there, also it will work. And line number 10 there, instead of S, put no there. Yeah, enter. Oh, why? Okay, it is T2 underscore actor.
T3 underscore or T2
Not T3,
underscore?
T2. Yeah, change the table name.
T3, T2.
No,
Okay.
T2. T2. That's why I gave T2.
Okay.
Yeah, T2 underscore actor. Enter. This is where I know you will get into trouble. So I want to solve that. I had T2 is added. Now open another screen. You can see the decalgen there. Open another screen. Yeah, go to your db2.decalgen 3.4. Your id.db2. So go to the decalgen. Now T2 will be there. We already copied T1. We generated T2 now. The T2 will have the structure of the actor table. This is the variable names you can see now. There we had department and all. Here you can see one thing keep in mind, column name will have underscore, actor underscore ID. Whereas the host variable will have actor dash ID. COBOL will not support underscore. Actually, it supports in the later versions, but anyway, the decalgen here it is generating with the dash. It's backward compatible. Yeah. So this one you have to keep in mind when you in the code the name variable names, you should use these variable names for the host variables wherever it is used. Okay, so there are 2 varchars here. In our case, there is only 1. Here you have to do that inspect and all that 2 times. For one for first name, one for last name. So you can try this. Okay, try to insert a row in the actor table. So that will give you a good confidence. Okay, it will be similar to my program. Very minor changes you have to do. Okay.
Okay.
Make sure you give the correct column names and the host variable names. It should work.
Okay.
Okay, please try that. And yeah, you can take help from ChatGPT and whatever you want, but finish the program. That will give you good confidence.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay, you can take help from the internet. Not a problem. But that will actually, the thing is, it will take more time. The more questions you ask to ChatGPT, it is going to ask you more questions again. So that is what it will be time consuming. But yes, but you can find the solution. Okay, if you're really stuck, or you can always send a screenshot and I will try to respond. Okay.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Okay. At least we started to embedded SQL because I want you to practice few programs so that you'll be very confident in this. Okay.
Okay.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah.
Bye.
Thank you.
Bye. Bye. Good night.
Yeah. Bye.